Gurmaigat ceann comhairle agus dús báile mo bhíle buchas leis na 100 míle duine cá san Taoiseach son Sinn Féin son Ahrú agus son Rialtas Nua. Báilm cogorgeous ó críaróla gach duine ansa aniu a bhí tofa mar theachta dála sa cathrú dál is trocha. Is an mór a bheith tofa ag tógdóirí de dóil ceantar agus tá sé gceist agam féin Malán íhil a dhéanamh son baile átha clíolóir agus son muintir na hÉireann. Congratulations also to you, Madam Ceann Comhairle. Lá starúla tá ann dit féin agus dúin goléir agus tú tofa mar an céad ban riamh le bheith mar Ceann Comhairle na Dála. A first for women again, and a welcome one at that. Although it was part of the manoeuvrings for the entry back into government of our friends across the way, I can't welcome that, but I wish you very, very well. And so the election is over and the dust is settling. The job of representation begins. There are 577 people on hospital trolleys today. Almost 1 million on treatment waiting lists. The stress and trauma of people not able to afford a home of their own persists. Parents of children with special needs and disabilities do daily battle with the system to access services and supports that they so badly need. And as we face into Christmas, a time when spirits are high, but so too are the costs, families continue to struggle with the cost of living crisis that is a source of increasing hardship. Too many children face a Christmas of homelessness and worry whether Santa will be able to find them. The election is over, but the real damage, consequences and lost opportunities of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael governments remain real, lived. In the election, we championed a new government, a government centred on policies and plans that can deliver real improvements in things that matter to ordinary people. The contours of that vision for a better future are shaped by a belief that everyone should have a home of their own, by the determination to make housing affordable, to bring home ownership back into the reach of working people and to restore the hope of a generation, shaped by the need to transform our health service to ensure people get the health care and treatment that they need, shaped by the resolve to deliver affordable childcare for families, to meet the cost of living crisis head-on, to ensure that those on average incomes never again pay the USC, to ensure that our young people can build a life at home in Ireland instead of being forced out to seek opportunity abroad, to revolutionise services and supports for our citizens living with disabilities, independent living and rights, to give a clear, unequivocal commitment to scrap the unfair means test for carers' allowance. The election is over, but our determination to deliver remains. And it is for that reason that my party, Sinn Féin, nominated me as Taoiseach today. There is no question of wasting time. There is, in fact, no time to waste. Hundreds of thousands of people voted for real progress and a better future. They voted for Sinn Féin, but not just for us, for other parties too, who join us in a belief that politics must change, that we need a new government. And those votes count. Those votes matter. They are the votes of working class communities, of working people, of families, and of so many young people. They voted for a government that's on their side and has their backs. And they are now disappointed. Some are angry that the same old two will hold on to power again. The Fianna Fáil-Fine Gael partnership is in the driving seat when it comes to government formation. There's no doubt about that. I've consistently said that the worst possible outcome of the election would be Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael back in government together. And I repeat that assertion today. In 2020, Micheál Martin stated, Fine Gael back in government is not change. Rarely, you were actually right. Consistency didn't matter, Micheál. Although you have been consistent in this, you are of recent years hell-bent on putting Fine Gael back into government. This time you hope for another 5 years to copper fasten and lead to 19 years of Fine Gael in power. You're so committed to that particular goal that you won't even countenance talking to Sinn Féin, the second largest party in this Dáil, and remember, the largest political party on the island of Ireland. In so doing, you refuse to recognise the vote of every person who voted for Sinn Féin as equal to those who voted for Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, or indeed for anyone else. That their voices are equal, that their views are equal, that their hopes for the future are equal, and that there are no second-class mandates, and there are certainly no second-class voters. Count Corlett, there is no reason to believe that having caused a housing crisis and having made it worse, having sustained a crisis in health, having failed to deliver for working people, that Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, their junior partner, are in any position to straighten matters out. The parties that created these problems are not going to solve them. It's as simple as that. And I was alarmed this morning to hear, as I went innocently about my business in my kitchen, to hear members from government benches on the airwaves congratulating themselves on their performance in housing and health over the last 5 years. Be very clear, no amount of backslapping or plumos can hide your failures, because people live with them. Yours is a partnership designed to cling to power at all costs and to preserve the status quo for as long as you possibly can. And the last 5 years demonstrated in the sharpest way that the parties that have led government now for 100 years have run out of steam and have run out of ideas. You remain wedded to broken policies. You dress up your failures as success, and then you offer the same worn-out excuses when you are challenged. And all the while, the crisis in housing and health and the cost of living have deepened. Spin, sound bites, broken promises and excuses are not the currency of good government. Government is rightly judged on action, delivery and results. So be aware, be very aware that you will be judged on the big promises you made to get back into power at all costs. Count Corla, history tells us that campaigns are where Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael make their promises, and in government is where they break them, a tale as old as time itself. And we already have sight of what's in store should Micheál Martin and Simon Harris get this deal of theirs over the line with the manful help of Deputy Michael Lowry. What we will have is more of the same. You simply propose to pick up where you left off before the election. And the discussions, not surprisingly, between your two parties have centred on the carve-up of power and position. You've argued very publicly over your rotating Taoiseach, over who gets which ministerial job and who gets the big meeting rooms in Leinster House. But mind you, no talk of double-digit rent increases. No talk of the nearly 15,000 people made homeless on your watch. The more than 4,000 children now in emergency accommodation. No talk either of how the Capuchin Centre here in Dublin ran out of food parcels and vouchers for those in need so fast that its volunteers were left stunned. That's the fruits of unchecked deprivation and an embedded cost of living crisis that leaves households, working households, in real distress. But more than that, it reflects again that out-of-touch culture of entitlement that defines your century-old cosy club. But there is hope, Ceann Comhairle. The political landscape in this state has been transformed, I believe, irrevocably. I believe all is changed and changed utterly. Because the days of the same two parties controlling not just government, but opposition also for generations are gone, and they are not coming back. This election confirmed that 2020 was not a flash in the pan, that it wasn't simply a once-off election. Whether you like it or not, our party, Sinn Féin, is now a significant, potent force in political life here. And we are determined to work with others elected to this Dáil to build and strengthen the alternative to perpetual Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael government. Collectively, we were elected on a mandate of change, and we have considerable strength. So our responsibility now is to collaborate, to cooperate, to work together in common purpose, to advance a platform of progress and force a change of direction from the policies that have wrought crisis, hardship and a denial of opportunity for far too many. We must also do better at convincing more people, inspiring more people, rallying more people to the vision of a better, fairer and more equal Ireland, and we will do that. I know that there is disappointment amongst a significant portion of the population. It's likely that we will not have the new government and the new approach that is so desperately needed. That's politics, that's elections, that's democracy. And I respect everyone who voted in this election. I respect the choices that they have made on their ballot papers. My message to those who feel downhearted today is simply this. It's okay to feel disappointed, but you cannot and you must not feel defeated. The working people of Ireland are no strangers to adversity. They know better than most that night is darkest just before the dawn. And it may take a little bit longer for the sun to rise, but the sun will eventually rise on a new day in Ireland. We haven't lost hope, not one bit, far from it. Our belief and determination are even stronger, because we know that progress is never achieved on a road that is straight and smooth. Progress is never achieved without facing challenge and adversity along the way. Progress is achieved when you stick to the task, give it your all, and carry on when you are tested. So, my friends, we carry on. We carry on certain in the belief that it will not be Fianna Fáil agus Fine Gael forever. The faces and the words of those that I met on the campaign trail are not simply memories to think on years from now. For me, they are the inspiration that moves me forward today. I'm inspired by TJ, the incredible young man with scoliosis who was left on a waiting list so long that his condition became inoperable. But still he finds the courage to speak up for others. I'm motivated by the young teacher brought to tears as she told me of her frustration in not being able to build the life she wants here in Ireland and seeing so many of her friends forced to leave. By the determined anger of student nurses and midwives and apprentices who know they're being shortchanged and want better. I'm driven by the humanity and love of the carers that I met everywhere, by the woman in Ballymun who works 24/7, day and night looking after her son, but has been so badly let down by the state. I'm both heartbroken and driven by the courage of Luke, He's a 22-year-old Dublin. He's lived through years of homelessness, but he's worked his way and built his life through that. What an incredible young man. But above all, I am inspired by the kindness, the generosity and the unwavering optimism of the working people of Ireland. We meet 1 week from Christmas, a time where we reflect on the past and look to possibilities for the future. I want everyone who wants to see a new government for working people to know this, that we are not giving up and we never will, because there is too much at stake and there is too much to be achieved. So we will keep going. We will make this journey. We will continue to fight for you, to stand up for you, to have your back, to defend and advance the rights of working people, of families and communities to a life full of opportunity and hope, achievement and happiness, and yes, prosperity too. That's a future worth believing in. That's worth working for, and it's the future that we can achieve. So lanimid e gobar kuntaki tavalu son rawa ela shakas realtas fuicanas fianna fall agus finnagail kun gamanhi muid law amok fuiera le realtas son and cushwincher Ibra son Chowley agus son on Fubble. I believe that the path to a new, united Ireland, because our country remains partitioned, the road to a better future was never ever going to be walked easily. But I also know that it can be walked, traversed and completed together. Because change can run as fast as white waters or slowly to the pace of a babbling brook, but the waters of history keep flowing, and they flow now. They flow in the direction of a new government for ordinary people and a new era where workers, families and communities truly come first. The change that we talked about in the last election can be slowed, it can be frustrated for time, but be very, very clear, in the end, it will not be stopped. And as we meet here today on our first gathering Ceann Comhairle of this 34th Dáil, we have never been more determined nor more confident that we collectively will get there.